this was a black father and son, and you were a white FedEx driver, do you think this would be different?
Yes, man, without questioning. I would have been arrested probably that same night and not given bail at all.
That's an excerpt of an interview with FedEx driver D'Monterrio Gibson, who was shot at by two men while delivering packages in a town in Mississippi. And as bad as that is, and it's terrible, making it even worse is that he says that the company provided effectively no support whatsoever after this insane attack. And we will turn to that in just a little bit. But first I wanna give you information about the actual attack. So D'Monterrio told CNN that he was delivering packages to a home at night on January 24th when he saw a white pickup truck coming from the house behind it. The truck started approaching him and blowing the horn at him. So he thought it just wanted to get around him. So he tried to leave, but the truck swerved around him and tried to cut him off, like tried to stop him, I guess. He said, at that point, my instincts kick in and I swerve around him as he's trying to cut me off to avoid getting stuck in the neighborhood. He goes a little bit further into the neighborhood, a couple more houses, and says then a man in the middle of the road pointed a gun at his vehicle and waved and mouthed for him to stop, to which he shook his head and said no, the most understandable thing in the world. He then hid behind his steering wheel while he swerved around him. At least 5 shots were fired at the van, according to the incident report that was eventually fired. That wasn't the end of it though. He said that as he was leaving the neighborhood, one of his managers called and he told the manager that someone was shooting at him. She told him to get back to the station as fast as he could. The truck, now with both of those men inside, chased him out of Brookhaven and to the interstate. He eventually filed a suspicious person report and the 2 men have now been charged. He was just going in the neighborhood to make some deliveries and 2 madmen tried to murder him. Thoughts?
So I try usually in vain to get the right wing to empathize with the rest of us. So imagine that you're doing deliveries in a poor African American neighborhood and they come and shoot at you for no reason. Do you think the cops would arrest them that day? Come on, you know they would. You know, because there's the racial component, there's a socioeconomic component. You know that guys who shoot in a poor black neighborhood at a white delivery driver are getting arrested instantly. It took 8 days to arrest these guys. Now look, the head of police there is black, and he says, no, this is definitely not racial, etc. No, it's in our assumptions, guys. Our assumptions are white guys shoot at a black guy, probably a good reason for it. God, that's so frustrating. Now imagine being black, and that's the world you gotta live in every day. You don't know who's gonna shoot at you. You don't know who's gonna, just because of the color of your skin, think you're a big threat. You see that guy? That guy looked, I mean, no offense, but he looked tiny, right? And he's delivering packages. Which thief gives you stuff rather than takes it away? Like what? It doesn't make any sense except he's black. So let's shoot at him without even talking to him. And so if you have to live with that possibility, even if it didn't happen to you, every black person, especially every black guy that's relatively young to middle-aged, thinks it's possible right around the corner. That's a hell of a thing to live with.
It's traumatic and it's generational trauma. I mean, there are, if you talk to any black person, I know the right wing chooses to pick particular black people in their media space that validate their racist positions about black people. But if you look at the lived experiences of somebody outside of your own experience, it's difficult again for the right wing. Then you'll understand that every black person has an uncle or a friend or a cousin or a sibling or a parent who has had similar experiences like this. And that's really what is so frustrating, as you say, Cenk, in terms of conversing and having these conversations, is because it seems like there is a complete wall up and an unwillingness to understand that when you're black in America, there is always a part of you that is fearful for your life in society. And in terms of what that does to your mind, to your anxiety levels, it is an untold toll, honestly, on just being Black in America and your lived experience. And it's something that Black men especially, and Black people in general, have to carry with them. And that really is just another story. I mean, especially you can compare any of these stories to the killing of Black people in this country. But I would imagine that the victim here thought a bit about Ahmaud Arbery, because this echoes that kind of vigilante, rageful white person following around a Black person in the neighborhood for no particular reason and literally shooting at them.
Yeah, and at least based on the information we have, those echoes are pretty robust. Gibson's lawyer is actually making that comparison and saying that based on that, they should investigate this as a hate crime. But yeah, and it's even a family thing. The two men who have been charged, who are now, out, by the way, out on bail, are Gregory Case and son Brandon Case. It's great that in the modern era there are still things for families to bond over. Unfortunately, it seems to be vigilante justice, but it's not like any of this is new. It's not like when the tragedy happened with Ahmaud Arbery that it was new. But that happened, was investigated eventually. We had this long gap for the trial, and then eventually even that was concluded. And then after that entire national experience, people are still going out and thinking, you know what? I think, based purely on this racial animus that I possess inside of myself, that person is doing something wrong, so I'm gonna kill them where they stand. And you know what? Let's say that they investigate these two guys and they end up in jail. There are still gonna be things like this because nobody learns. They've learned all the lessons they want. They've come to racist conclusions based on them, and this is the end result.
So I don't understand why they got bail. This is obviously attempted murder. They shot at the guy. They were super lucky they missed. They shot 5 times at him to try to kill him. Well, bail, there's kids in jail without, because they couldn't put up like $1,000 in bail, or sometimes even $100 in bail. They sit there for months on end, sometimes years on end, for the smallest little crimes you've ever seen in your life. And half the time they didn't even do it, and at the end of a year and a half, they're like, oh, oops, sorry, you're free to go, right? These guys do attempted murder and they're out, and it takes 8 days to arrest them, and now they're out on bail. Why? Why? I don't understand. So if they did an attempted murder on, now I'm gonna have to fill in the blank, right? But Secret Service, I don't mean anything by it. But on Biden, would they be out on bail? Of course not. Okay, fine, pick another wealthy, powerful white person, a banker in Wall Street. Would they be out on bail? There's no way they would be out on bail. Oh, it's just a poor Black guy who's just a FedEx driver. Yeah, who cares? Put him out on bail, right? And then, and it's also the gun culture, guys. It's because they can't wait to use their guns. Oh, remember when Kyle Rittenhouse did it? Oh, he's such a hero. Remember when he murdered those guys? He got to use his gun for self-defense. Oh, hey, look, there's a Black guy. Good enough on self-defense. Let's go murder him. I don't care what any of these right-wing gun nuts say about, oh, no, we're so careful with our weapons. We don't want to use them at all. We just have them for self-defense. I mean, it probably won't ever happen. We've got them locked up and the bullets are somewhere else and we're super safe. My ass, you can't wait to use those guns. And that's why you have situations like this.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.